Today, we uncover one of the most haunting and catastrophic crimes in ancient Israel, an atrocity so severe that it plunged an entire nation into civil war. It is a crime preserved not for its heroism, but for its horror, a reminder of what happens when justice collapses and every person does what is right in their own eyes. This is the story of the Levite's concubine, and you're watching A Veil of Crime, where history's darkest truths are brought out of the shadows. Our story begins in the hill country of Ephraim. A Levite, one of the priestly class, takes a concubine from Bethlehem in Judah. But their relationship breaks apart. Whether through unfaithfulness or conflict, the woman leaves him and returns to her father's house. After 4 months, the Levite travels to Bethlehem to persuade her to return. Her father welcomes him warmly, too warmly, delaying their departure day after day with food, drink, and hospitality. Eventually, the Levite insists they leave, though the day is nearly gone. Night falls, and they reach the territory of Benjamin. They arrive at Gibeah, a town of their own people, and expect kindness. Instead, no one offers them lodging until an old man returning from work sees them and insists they come under his protection. Hospitality, in that era, was not just courtesy, it was sacred duty, and in Gibeah, it was about to be violated in the most grotesque way. As night deepens, men of the city surrounded the old man's house. They demanded that the Levite be brought out to them, echoing the depravity of Sodom generations earlier. Desperate to protect his guest, the old man offers his own daughter and the concubine instead. It is a moment where the ethics of survival collide with the brutal cultural realities of the age. The Levite pushes his concubine out to the mob. What follows is an unspeakable night of violence. By dawn, the men of Gibeah have abused her to the point that she collapsed at the doorstep, her hand stretched towards the threshold of safety that she could not reach. When the Levite finds her, she did not respond. He lifts her onto his donkey and returns home in silence, and then he takes a step as shocking as the crime itself. He cuts her body into 12 pieces and sends them throughout the tribes of Israel, not as desecration, but as a summons, forcing the nation to confront the horror committed within its own borders. The tribes react with outrage. Never had such a crime been seen in Israel. Tens of thousands gather and demand justice from Benjamin. But Benjamin refuses to surrender the guilty men of Gibeah. Instead, they prepare for war. The conflict that follows is devastating. Brother fights brother. Cities burn. Tens of thousands die. What began with one woman's suffering ends with nearly an entire tribe brought to the brink of extinction. Judges 19 through 21 closes with a line that echoes through history. In those days there was no king in Israel. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes. It is not a moral lesson tied neatly with a bow. It is a warning, an indictment of human society when law, justice, and compassion collapse. And it begins with one crime, one woman, and a nation forced to look at what it had become. You've just heard the chilling account of the Levite's concubine, an ancient crime whose shockwaves reshaped a nation. If you want more historical investigations into humanity's darkest chapters, subscribe to A Veil of Crime and step with me into the shadows where history and truth converge. Until next time, stay watchful. The past still speaks.